Hello and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to wrap up this week with our final track for this theme. We're going to be looking at the band Shiner as our final alternative rock selection. The track we're listening to is The Situationist, coming off of their Lula Divinia album. Yeah, we're going to go with that pronunciation. Let's dive into this and see what Shiner is bringing to the table today.
A simple case of timing, one thin thread, a thimble full of lies. A simple case of timing, one thin thread, a thimble full of lies.
Yeah, so some really interesting 7-pulse ideas here for both the verse and whatever that transition moment was we were just in.
Fly, fly away.
It's very wavy.
Waves might just say
Fun little triplet thing there on the drums.
clumsy lining, fit the crown on your head.
Shifts into a 4/4 here. Ooh, yeah, dude, that drum syncopation. The overtone's still ringing out. A lot of tension here into the release. Also as an extension. Okay. So 6/6/6/8. Interesting. I like the two guitars here, one a bit brighter, one a bit darker. The brighter one also plays a slightly higher pitched tone as well. All right. I'm going to kick this off and say that I'm really looking forward to the comment section on this one. I'm curious what emotion y'all get out of this. I find a bit of longing in the vocals, but I don't know that that comes from anything other than the production style on this, which tends to be a bit thinner, has a narrow tone to it, and is more high pitched in places. And it just reminds me of some lighter grunge stuff that typically associates with that feeling. I don't think it's actually anything compositionally in this track. And I think that if I hadn't listened to songs that use similar production on the vocals, I probably wouldn't come to that conclusion in the isolation of this track. Musically, though, when I listen to the guitars, the bass, the drums, it just kind of comes across as a rock track. I was listening to the chords, and I think they're a bit. Well, most of them are power chords. They don't have a lot of personality to them. They sound great. There's power to them. That's why they're called power chords. There's a lot of stability. But I don't really feel sadness or longing or joy or fear or any of that really tied to it. The nice thing about power chords is that it's honestly just a dyad. It is a blank slate to apply other things to. The vocals kind of apply some stuff to it, but again, I don't really get much out of it. And there isn't really anything in the way of melody elsewhere in this track to ascribe more emotional weight to the more bland harmonic ideas. So I don't really get much out of this song emotionally. It's a solid rock track. I enjoyed my time with it. It's got good grooves to it, but I don't feel like I connected with it, at least not off of this first time listen. On a more technical level, though, there are some really neat rhythmic things going on in here. We have a lot of time signatures. We have a 7 that takes up the first verse, and then a different 7 that takes up a little transition back into the verse. And then there's the chorus, which is the larger moment where the vocals are a bit more higher placed. It feels a bit more, I don't want to say bombastic, because honestly, I think most of this track is sort of mid as far as, mellow versus exciting, kind of sitting right there around the middle range. But it is the larger part of this track. And this section is in 4/4. But then we have a bridge that shifts to groups of 3, or what I found easier to count, 6. But we also have an interesting alternation there where we have 6, 6, 6, 8. We actually have a 2-beat extension on the 4th time through at the end of this phrase. This just isn't something I see too often in alternative rock. 3s, sure. 4s, yeah, obviously. 4 pulse is prominent through a lot of modern music. So that's not too odd, but the 7 is odd. The groupings of 3, but having extension at the end of the phrase is odd. I find it really interesting to hear that kind of stuff within this sonic landscape. I've heard songs like this. What's weird is off the top of my head, I can't name any tracks, but the production style, the general almost grunginess of the guitar tone, the thinness of the vocals, the production of it all, it feels familiar. Definitely has a 90s vibe to it. This came out in 97, so yeah, that fits. But like I said, I can't put a song to this. I'm familiar with the sound, but I guess not familiar enough with it. Regardless, This is the kind of music I would hear on the radio growing up, and a lot of that was in just 4/4 or 3/4. So hearing the shifting time signatures throughout this is really interesting, but it's also the oddities of the rhythmic devices too. At the beginning of the song, we start with pulses of 4 and 3. The interlude moment between the two verses is shifting to groups of 3 and then 4. So we're actually changing around things with that. Even in the chorus, the 4/4 section has a pickup note on the and of 4 prior to the beat 1 of the repeating of the phrase. That's actually where the guitar starts the phrase. So it's half a bar, or half of a beat earlier. Call those pickup notes. And there's all these little rhythmic devices. I mean, even just the extension of 2 beats in that bridge section is an interesting rhythmic idea. We don't necessarily need to ascribe that to time signature so much as phrasing, rhythmic phrasing, because it feels like we're holding on to that for so much longer. I mean, those 2 beats, they really feel like they take up so much time. So there's a lot of rhythmic oddities in here that honestly in the realm of more complex musics are not that deep, but in the realm of alternative rock, again, I don't expect to hear this kind of stuff. So it's pretty cool that they do it, and the thing is that it's rather effortless too. I find that this track is still rather groovy, easy to headbang to while you're listening to it, even despite the constantly shifting time signature stuff. Now, we do have some small adjustments through it. There's kind of 3 modes to this track. There's the verse, which is a bit more muted, a bit lower energy. This includes the interlude between the verses. This is all part 1. Verse, interlude, verse. I think that's it. Then we have the chorus, which is brighter. It's more energetic. It's still, as I mentioned, still kind of around the mid-range. It's not like we're going from like a 1 to a 10 or anything. It's like a 3 to a 5 here. And then we move into the bridge, which feels a bit darker. It's warmer, but it's also lacking momentum. It is stuck in place. This was purely instrumental with no melodic part on top of it, and I think just a 4-chord progression. And we did that over and over and over, and I was kind of surprised they went with it for as long as they did with as little variation as they had in that moment. That brought us back to the chorus. The song starts small, opens up, diminishes a little, opens up again, and then wraps up. There is a small type of movement through it. But dude, that bridge, it kept going. I don't know if anyone else felt like that it was just too long. I feel like it overstayed its welcome. If it had some sort of guitar solo in it, put in a new vocal line, let the bass shine for a little bit, something, but it just stuck with the chord progression and was happy with that. And like I said, to me, that section feels a bit more cyclical. The verse has momentum to it. We have a shifting change between the 2 verses, that interlude part. The chorus is a big change from the verses. And then there's the bridge, and it's just this loop. It's stuck, and then it finally gets back out and returns back to the chorus there. So it's an interesting moment of the track where it feels like there's directionality through it. And honestly, I was surprised when we had hit 2 verses and a chorus in like 2 minutes. And I knew this was almost a 5-minute track. I expected it to be something either slow or not doing the verse, chorus structure that so much alternative rock does. And it does kind of follow the verse chorus structure. We don't have a chorus after the first verse, but we do have verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. It's really close to that ABABCB format. It just pads out its length with that C, with the bridge. So I don't know. Like I said, I generally enjoyed the sound. It was fine for a one-time listen. I'm not sure I'm going to come back to it though. There's not a lot that really grabs me here. Let me dive into some lyrics though. Maybe that'll change my mind on some things. All right. There's not a lot of lyrics here, and what there is, for me at least, is incredibly cryptic. I'm just going to read it outright, the two verses here, and maybe we can work through this together. A simple case of timing, one thin thread, a thimbleful of lies. A lie along the way could make you wave, then we'd all say your name. Fly your flag anyway and see who waves. They might just say your name. I love the time when a little clumsy rhyming could fit the crown on your head. Now, the first thing I noticed about this was clumsy rhyming made me think about the general cadence of all of this. And I remembered that this section was in 7, so I wanted to go back and listen to how everything flowed. And it's choppy. It's kind of rough. It fits the 7 cadence, it fits the 7 pulse, but the cadence is not really super consistent. Some of these sentences have less syllables than others. Some have half of the syllables as other lines. And it creates a vocal delivery that feels uneven. It doesn't have the nice flow to it. There is a consistent long A sound in here too. Way, wave, name, away, waves. But it doesn't work for some reason. It does rhyme technically, but it doesn't flow well, which I found really interesting. Now, I have no idea what any of this means. There's an element here of just being who you are and maybe seeing who grooves with that. It says fly your flag and see who waves, see who might say your name. I kind of have an idea of like just be yourself, be true, and see who surrounds you with your authenticity. But I don't know, what is the case of timing? The thread, what is the thimbleful of lies? What is a lie that could make you wave? I don't know, man. But then we hit the chorus and I went and listened to this too, and it's just as rough. It's a really strange cadence for the vocal melody. It says head down, arms straight out, left without having completely sussed it out, head to the sun, I've left to run. I don't know. I don't know. I'm so lost on this. There's no way I can even tie this back to the music because I don't know what's being said here. So we're just going to wrap this up. These are my thoughts on Shiner's The Situationist. Would that be someone who takes advantage of situations or someone who creates situations? I don't know. That doesn't help me put any of the lyrics into perspective either. So these are my thoughts. What are yours? Did you enjoy this track? Is there anything that stood out to you? Anything that you'd like to add on to what I said or correct me on? Do you have your own take, perspective, or opinion on this? Please put all of that, as well as anything else you'd like to add, into the comment section below. Above that, in the description box, is a link to Linktree. It takes you here. You can find links to my music, ways to support the channel, a link to the Discord server, and so much more. Above that, if you could, like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I greatly appreciate all 3 of those. That wraps it up for today. I'll be back tomorrow, though, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 10 p.m. UTC as usual. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos.